Pairing live stream. The content of this meeting is being sent to Facebook. Jolly good. Now, let's see if it really is being sent to Facebook. Ha! There it is. There we are. And Jill, no doubt, will be hopefully with us very shortly. And I've got no idea what we're going to talk about as normal. We'll just open our gobs and see what comes out. How you all doing? It's a funny old game, is it not? Undulations, oscillations, turbulence, peace, bliss, and all that other stuff. Shanine, hey up, Chuck, hey up. Don't be talking to me like that. Don't you know who I am? Deborah Smith's here. D, hello, D, my love. Right, hanging by a thread today. Oh, that's no good. You know I'm always here if you fancy a chat, you know. I know people like you in your sublime position don't like to come down to earth and talk to ordinary humans, but you know, I'm always here if you want to chat. So let's just see now. I'll go down here and get my iPad and see if Jill's sent me any messages. I think she's in New York City. Hello, Deborah. So let's see. Go on here like this. Yeah. And when they say what's going on, I've got no idea. People think for some reason that I've got an idea. All I work on is principles, right? And the most important principle is if you cultivate an inner smile, and through certain breathing techniques, if you then send that smile through your nervous system, through your nadis and your meridians, it will find the blocks, it will de-obstruct the blocks, and it will cause your stem cells in that area to produce perfect cells. It will reduce the irritation, and therefore it will reduce the inflammation, and therefore it will stop the proliferation of cells that we don't really want to take over, if you catch my drift. It's called psychoneuroendocrino-immunohematology, or the last one could be biochemistry, or it could be just plasma. Because in the end, it all comes down to how we talk to the water in our bodies. Now you're all hoping and praying now that Jill will come on quickly, aren't you? So I can stop all this nonsense. But in the end, it's about become aware of your breathing and cultivate a little chuckle. And in no matter what circumstances, except when you're in immediate physical danger, you can always find a way to cultivate an inner smile and activate an attitude of gratitude, and then send that to all those areas of your body that are causing you problems. And that's how you do it in my humble, not so humble Samantha Haddock. Hello, my love. Annette Kay. Lovely to see you, girls. I hope you're all keeping well. Now, Jill, let's have a look. I'm going to go to Jill here and I'm going to send her a message that says, everything okay, Jill? Let's see. Everything okay, Jill? I'm pretty sure they got the times right. Let's have a look. What time is it now in New York City? Let's see what time we said. Diddly boom, diddly boom, diddly boom, ba-dum. Excuse my singing while I'll just carry on. So 1 p.m. time works for me. It's possible that I've got it wrong because, you know, I'm not infallible. 1 p.m. 1 p.m. in New York City. Yeah. Oh, well. Come on, Jill. I've got loads of questions to ask you, like things like about shamanic healing and things like that. Quantum leaping and jumping and disentanglement and stuff like that. Maybe there's, oh, hang on. Something's just happened then. I don't know what happened then. So yeah, be happy. But D, don't pretend to be happy when you're miserable. Not that I'm suggesting for a moment, D, that you're that type of person. Patty Pooley Boyer. Hello, Patty. Nice to see you. I can tell you're watching. You see, you can't get away with anything with this AI and digital surveillance of everything that we do. Right. That worries me considerably. Now, I'll have to go back to me messenger. Let me see now. Tiddly bum bum bum. If anybody wants to like ask any questions or anything, I'll tune in to my intuition and see if an answer comes. Right. Other than that, you'll just have to hang on. Fake it until you make it. D, excuse me, D, there's been none of that now. This is about being authentic in every moment. Cheers me up seeing you F up for a change. F up? What do you mean F off? What do you mean by that? Stop speaking in Gaelic, will you, Shanine? Right, hang on. Oh, I see. F. Yeah, okay, I understand now. My word. Quantum disentanglement. Dee, 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 dee. Time. Time. Yep, I think we've got it right. Not quite sure. Steph. Hello, Steph. Nice to see you. Steph, I feel like I've known you forever, and yet we only met at that day, didn't we? That mind day. Mind your business day. Mind your own business. Even your husband's a friend of mine now. Can't be that bad if he's a biker. Must be a very tolerant man, Steph, if, if you don't mind me saying so. Ah, dear. Michelle. Hello, Michelle. It's advising me, Fave, take away my. I don't understand what that means, Michelle. Right? It must be some sort of message from Aramatena and all those people who live in Aramatena. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, they're the five dimensions, or that's the fourth, of the five dimensions or densities, right? According to Keylontic science, which I think is absolutely magnificent. I think it's for me, for a person like me, I love the science of it and I love how it uses um, toning and all those sort of things to open up formerly blocked channels of information, you know. So if anybody if anybody's interested, why not go and have a look at Elontic science and have a feel, see if it's for you, and make your own mind up. We all have different ways where we can sink deeper and rise higher, I feel, or more expanded consciousness. Right. So I don't know what's happened to Jill. Um, all I can do really is if anybody's got any burning questions, I've been forced on you. I'll be calm myself this week. Yeah, yeah, it does it. Shane, it's yeah, and some people say that the universe doesn't force you. Well, in my experience and in my opinion, yes, it does. If we're burning ourselves out needlessly, sometimes it will send a few obstacles in just to slow it down. It might even be accidents. I remember one of my friends who was really on the edge and he was going for it, right? And they helped him to fall off a ladder that put him in bed for 6 weeks and sent him all inspiration and insights when he was lying in bed. So, because, as we all know, most of the people who look at this is we are spirits on a human journey within this vehicle, this skin suit, if you like, or that's the way I see it or feel it. And I think to get to that stage, you have to go through a lot of shit, basically, and get to a rock bottom. And then I think that's where, if you just sit, we get sort of brought up into an ascended sort of feeling where we start to feel feelings from within. Then that would be to me be a spiritual awakening, and people think I know a lot. I don't know a lot. All I do is I honestly just go with the way I feel from one moment to the next. I do know a lot of like medical health and science things, and I have some. understanding of how the universe works at sort of 1% level. But I really feel that there's about 99% there just waiting to be explored, and not in one lifetime. And whether there are different lifetimes, I don't know. It might be just different dimensions going on all at the same time. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't care. Because the way I work is in the simplest way is I just clear me head, sit in me heart, and I just say a little request. It's like a prayer, but I'm not a religious person. I just say, hello, heart. If you're not busy, I'm a bit stuck here. Could you possibly send as clear as possible the information I need in order to take some action now to go forward? And sometimes I get, yeah, just sit there. You don't have to do anything. Sit with the feeling, breathe through it, right? Especially breathing out. Breathe through it, right? And it will dissipate and it will flow back into your system to give you more courage, to give you more strength, and to give you more oomph to go forward through these peculiar times. There we are. Look, monologue, soliloquy, quay. Oh, now, should we talk about light language? If light language hasn't visited you yet, be afraid, be afraid. And if you feel like you're sort of starting to sing and suddenly all sorts of weird and wonderful tones come out, please believe me, you are not possessed, you are being dispossessed, right? You are clearing the space in order for the correct tones to come through, in order for you to receive more information on the actions you need to take to make the world a better place, right? That's how I see it, right? Ask me a question, let's see what comes out, because most of the time, to be quite honest, hush de moo, and the same to you, D, the same to you. And by the way, D, I'll be going to that, hopefully, God willing. I'm going to that talk at the University of Chester because I know those people and they're lovely, lovely people. And they'll be talking about transcendence. And that's an area that I like to find out more about, really, to transcend the mundane, but include it as well. I don't think that we can transcend and let go of everything. I think that we've always got to remember that we've got feet of clay. I don't know what I'm saying here, but I'm just going to keep saying it. Kirsty Elizabeth, my love, I hope you're keeping well and keeping out of trouble there on the jolly old Isle of Wight, especially in that pub where those other people go to, right? I'm sure that you're secretly, you and the Holy Mother are secretly sending information that's helping to change their minds, right? I think I'm going to get barred from this. You know, I'm quite surprised actually at the stuff that I come out with, even though most of it's sort of subtle. I'm surprised I haven't been kicked off here for, you know. Susan, hello, Susan. Susan, I've got your heart here that you gave to me. It's with me every day, except now when I can't find it. Where is it? Must have been doing some cleaning up. But thank you for that, Susan. And thank you for your comments as well, because I know that you're as sharp as a razor, and you see things very, very clearly. So I do look. Kirsty, of course I'm spying on you, right? We're not the only ones being spied upon. Digital surveillance, right? That seems to be the way forward. Here's a funny thing about containment and corralling and like guiding us into pens and things like that. Have you noticed that in the local supermarkets, you can only go in certain areas now? If you've got a small basket, you've got to go in the small basket aisle. If you've got larger shopping, you can go in the middle one. And then there's something called smart shopping. Right. Hmm. It seems almost as if they're trying to control and regulate the way we walk, the way we talk, and what we spend our money on. Oh God, I am definitely going to get barred. Right, barred indeed. What's makeup pathway, Louise? Hello, my love. I took my map staff to University of Chester for ACE training when I was a professional. You still are a professional. I keep seeing you, right, with the pinstripe suit on and the suitcase because as soon as your name comes up it comes, right? Your professional self. Maybe that's a clue. Maybe somebody needs to shout that to you. I don't know. But there you go. Who knows how it all works? Because I do feel that what's for you won't pass you, but it might keep coming back a few times so that you get the message if you catch my drift. Right? I'm going back now. I'm going to go back to my iPad Messenger and see if Jill's all right. I hope she's all right. Been looking forward to this. Right, Jill Butler. So ESTD, I'm going to put up. What time is it? ESTD now. Labadoom shoe. Because, there's New York and New York City, and I don't know whether they're the same thing, but what time? ESTD. Yeah, 1:16 p.m. Just let me check once more. I don't mind making mistakes. I can handle that most of the time now, so let's have a go. ESTD, 1 p.m. my time works. Okay. Yeah. Funny business. Hope she's all right and everything's all right over in New York. Right. Hello, B Joy. How you doing? How you doing? Haven't heard from you for ages. I hope everything's okay over there. Right. I've been rather busy myself, actually, so I've not been sort of surveilling as much as I normally do because I've been sent all sorts of instructions of just get it done and stop moaning. And where I've come to today is do the small things that you don't want to do. Do them first and get them out the way, Joe. It's part of you growing up and becoming more of a professional type person, right? Which horrifies me. It absolutely horrifies me, right? Hello, Jackie Cormack. I hope you're keeping well. Yes, Jackie, I know that you're watching because it comes up on my big screen here. So I don't know what I'm going to do. In fact, I do know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it another like few minutes and then I'm going to see who wants to come on. Right. And I'm going to try and send the link to them if it's all possible, because extemporaneousness is my game. And for anybody who's not good at big words, it means to work, live, and be without a script. It means make it up as you go along. Interestingly, calm time. In BC, well, that's ABC, British Columbia, right? Election. Oh, the vote split right in half, no winner. Very interesting, very interesting. I'm interested also is there's lots of stuff coming up, isn't there? And it's very interesting watching what's going on in the United States of America. So November the 5th, that's my youngest brother's birthday. And he'd be 65 years young, so he's basically an old ass like myself. And it's also bonfire night, where over here in the UK, Guido Fawkes, because apparently he was an Italian chap, right? That was the gunpowder plot where he wanted to burn down or blow up the Houses of Parliament. Now, I know that there's other people who want to do that now. And I'm not one of them. Right, I'm not one of them. Where was I? Oh yeah. So that's interesting. I do watch these things from afar, but I don't get involved in it really because there's nothing I can do. The only thing I can do about anything is right now, you know. And I've wasted so much of my time and energy, right, thinking about or trying to act or trying to change things over which I've got no power whatsoever. So that was a big revelation that most of the time I was wasting my breath, believe it or not, wasting me breath and therefore wasting me energy because those two things are intimately and intricate, wasting me breath on stuff I had no power over. So consequently, it was knackered all the time. For you chaps that aren't in the UK, knackered means exhausted, tired. So here's a question to ask yourself. Am I burning energy foolishly? Am I wasting energy and spending time foolishly, right? trying to change things that really, really, truly, I've got no power to change. And it was absolutely amazing where I was allowing my power to drain. So I may have a touch of I must solve everything. I just, yes, yes, right. Shanine, honestly, most of the time I really couldn't give a shit about anything anymore, right? And the other big thing is each soul, according to me and my experience, and I could be totally wrong, each soul, right, no matter its age, there's a hard one. In spiritual terms, each soul is responsible for the curriculum that it chose for itself because it already has the means within it to overcome adversity and challenge. It's called the hero or the heroine's journey. And I do think that when you do that and you align yourself with your true essential self, then it becomes effortless, although we still need to put the effort in. It's almost like riding the will, right, of our essential purpose. Good God. I'm not even taping this. This is maybe I'll just like replay this and get the text to write it and then put it into a book or something. Hey, could make a few bob then and become an important person. Door. Hello, door. I hope I'm saying that right. I can definitely not say that next bit, but I hope you're keeping well as well. Sherry, get back in that kitchen, Sherry, and start cooking the food, and that because that's your job. Oh, who said that? We get mixed up, don't we, between male and female, right, and masculine and feminine. I think there's so much conflict and confusion over those terms, right? Me and my cats are happy to be tuned into you on this fine Sunday. Wendy, thank you for that. I'm definitely not the boss. Right. The boss is downstairs. She's probably cooking up some trouble for later. She doesn't do Facebook anymore, so I can say what I like because she's not trying to catch me out anymore. Oh, God. I didn't know this was going to happen. Right. Let me see now. In 3 minutes' time, I'm going to try and find a way. Well, no, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a link up, a link, and see who wants to come on. I've got no idea how to do that. Oh, look, that's my missus talking to the cats. Oh, Pumpkin's not too good. Her ears are itchy and she keeps scratching her ears. Me and my dog are enjoying a fight. Yes, it die indeed. It's very, very stormy indeed. The jolly old River Mersey where I go for my plungers, right? I'd definitely be dead if I threw myself in there today. And by Vale Park as well. So I'm gonna first of all I'm gonna go here like this. And it says video settings. Oh God, I've just seen myself. Brightening, brightening. Hang on. There's somewhere on here that says, oh, for goodness sake, host tools. It says share whiteboard, suspend activities. Definitely says on here somewhere more. Oh, I've got no idea what's going on. Hang on. No, don't know what to do. Just bear with me. Gary Armstrong, shouldn't you be washing the dishes and cleaning the... Ah, Jill Butler has arrived. You lot, you lot have been saved from a fate worse than spiritual awakening. Right, there we go. Margaret, hello, Margaret, my love. Oh, Wendy here too, my darling. Right, there she is. There's a picture of her. Jill,
Hey,
how you
I'm
doing?
here.
Where's your face?
Oh, here I am. Here I am.
Ah,
I thought we said 2 o'clock my time, not one. I'm
no,
sorry.
that's all
That's my
right. Don't
bad.
don't worry, no problem. I had to go back in case it was me. but it was you. Now,
I thought you said two.
no,
I
no, if
thought
you
you
go
said.
on Messenger, it definitely says 1 p.m.
Oh my God, I messed up. I never do that. I so apologize.
That's quite all right. And if for some reason I'm still wrong, I apologize too. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're here now. How you
Yeah,
doing?
I am doing fantastic.
Good. You look glowing and happy.
Oh, I am so glowing and happy. I feel like I've surfed to a new level of existence.
Oh, good.
And yeah, it's been tremendous. What about you?
Yes, I'm just plodding along. I've got no idea what's going on. I just like take a breath and see what happens next. That's sort of my life, really. I've
Yeah,
disconnected from my head a long time ago and I just sort of work with feelings now.
isn't it great? It's so great.
It is. I sort of
It
got this sort of faith and trust in something that motivates me from deep within. I've got a feeling that I know what that is, but I don't really get bothered with labels and stuff like that because as soon as you call something something, something, right? People want to argue and say, well, that's not the right name for it, or you this, But we're going to go over some words today because I think people get mixed up, including myself. And let's chat about some of the words that you put up on your profile, shall we?
Are you gonna about to check me, Dr. Joe?
No, no, it's not checking. It's to check your not your understanding or the way you see things. Because I'm
Mm,
sure it'll be the same way that I see things, but maybe in different words.
right, right, right.
Because I use an expression and I call it quantum disentanglement.
Mm,
And what that means to me is it means working in the quantum dimensions, right? Right,
right,
in
right.
order to unlock and de-obstruct things going on in the invisible realms.
Exactly. I
With
couldn't agree with you in any more words than that. That is it. That's where we both work.
because I feel the ancient Hebrews used to call this 3D world the 1% world because they believed that there was about 99% of other stuff going on in different dimensions that impacted upon our earthly life. What do you think?
Yes. Yes. I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that.
I've just been talking to the upstarts who are already listening in, you know what I mean, on Facebook. They've been
Hmm,
sending
hmm.
all rude comments and stuff like that. No, 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 because I make a lot of rude comments, so they feel that they've been given the opportunity to make them back to me, right? Now I'm going to send them love and light now, right, and rebalance their karma and see what happens next.
Oh, yes. More work to always be done in every different way, shape, or form. And it's so fun to be doing. I was just having a conversation with someone I was with a bit ago, and I was saying to them, and I was saying it in a very delightful way. I wasn't saying it in a complaining way. I was just like, "Do you know how hard it is to be in two places at all times?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, why don't you just be in one?" I said, "I can't do that." I said, "I'm always doing things in different realms, and I'm here too." And it's a lot, it's a lot when you're conscious of it. For a long time, I wasn't as conscious of what I was doing in the sense of understanding the full scope of it. But now that so much truth within us has come online for us,
Yeah.
we actually can understand the magnitude of all the things we're doing simultaneously. And once you really see that, for some people, that's very frightening. For me, it's very enlivening. It actually gives me a great creative edge to keep going further and further.
Yeah, yeah, I agree entirely. I think once you sort of have the awakening, whatever that means, I think there's an
Hmm.
expansion of your head, right, or
Right,
whatever.
right,
So we start to see things more. It's when I'm working with people or talking to people and they say, "Do you know what? I never realized that." And then, oh my God, and they start having these sort of realizations. It's almost as if their eyes get bigger and they can see stuff that's always been there, but they're just seeing
right.
it a bit more clearly now, you know. And then they say
Right. And
things like, "You'll never guess what happened," and I think that's good, you know.
yeah, but the
So
thing is, Dr. Joe, like I've been doing this for my whole entire existence here, but now I'm starting to it's understandable now for people. Whereas before it never was understandable. Like there was no concept of what I was trying to tell them when I was 15, 20 years old. They just thought I was straight up Looney Tunes. Now they like can grasp onto little pieces of reality to understand like, oh, she actually is doing these things. She's not crazy. She actually is doing this work because they're seeing the benefit of the things that I'm doing with them without before they didn't understand it and now they're seeing it. They're seeing it's catching up with them. The actual results are finally catching up with their existence. So the seeds that have been planted are now sprouting into flowers, and it's beautiful.
couldn't agree more. I think they sometimes call this time period we're going through now the quickening, don't they? And
Hmm.
there's
Yeah, yeah,
definitely a
yeah,
quickening that's going on. You know, I
yeah.
got in 2000, what was it, 2011. No, what happened to me was in 1987, I was trying to throw myself off bridges and everything because of all the information that was coming in,
The
because I couldn't.
downloads are unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't handle it, and apparently that was at a time something called the Great Harmonic
Convergence.
Convergence. That's
Yep.
right.
The
And
convergence. Yep.
so I was trying to run against the wall and smack my head on the wall to let some space in, you know what I mean? And
Oh, yeah.
it
Yeah.
it took me a while then because I got hospitalized. That was the third time I've been in a psychiatric department, and they thought I was having some sort of, psychosis or psychotic episodes and stuff like that. I know now, and I know that you do, and lots of people who are watching this, that that was just simply me head opening up more and more information coming in from these other dimensions, you know. So I'm okay with that now, but I see lots and lots of people that I work with now are having these psychotic episodes, which are basically just awakening episodes, really. And I think people like ourselves, who may be a little bit ahead, right? It's
Hmm.
almost the vision I have in my head is we're just putting our hand down a hole and pulling them out, kicking them up the bottom and saying, right, off you go, sort it out yourself, because what you're really looking for is within your heart, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm very grateful that I didn't ever get I never had to go through an experience of an hospital like that, but I've had a lot of people that I know have had to go through things like that. And I feel like it right now, if we can, like you said, like kind of pull people out, they won't have to go through that because the whole like medical system is going to be reframed really, 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 really soon. And so that whole reframing won't stigmatize people to be on senseless medications and drugs to alter them into actually a crazy place. They won't have to go through step into those worlds anymore. So we're getting to a tipping point now with that, which is really exciting. I'm really excited about that.
How do you feel about this next thing that I'm going to say then?
Sure.
Every soul incarnated here, every single soul is 100% responsible for the consequences of their actions. And that all physical illness, right? This is just a supposition. All
Yeah.
physical illness is part of their soul's evolution and journey into experiencing these things.
Well,
One for
yeah, I mean, people have to go through it. Like, you can't bypass it for them. Like, all you can do is bring them a mirror to their face so they can actually see what they're creating. And so, like, there's no healers or healing. It's just you and I and others just being that mirror of truth in order for the self to see thyself, to realize, yes, I am creating this mess. Like, this is me. This is my mess. And so it becomes such a mess that it destroys the physical vessel. And that's just not okay. Like it's mind, body, and soul. Like, and that's like just the generic understanding, you know. But the body it needs to be treated with utmost respect as a temple, and it's not, you know. So it's that's another thing that's on the chopping block is people to disengage and disenfranchise their bodies So we are mirroring that truth of like we have to do this, and like I see you running and you do all these little videos where you run, and it's inspiring and it's truth, and you have to do things for your vessel. And it's not just for your mental. You might qualify it that way, but it's for your physical too, and you know that.
So, for people who don't quite understand this, or maybe on the cusp, and maybe suffering from serious physical illness, or even have people that they know going through this, how do you, or how will I, get this message across that they're personally responsible for what's going on in their lives? It's a tough question, that really. How do you do it?
Well, I do it by actually physically being with people and like showing it to them. Like that's how I personally do it. Like I am guided through the angelic realms and specifically through Archangel Michael. I am guided each time that I need to work with someone on a one-on-one. And it's not that I'm not helping others, because I'm helping people all the time. Like I'm always doing mirror work with people everywhere I go. But when I do the one-on-one work, I'm very much guided and someone's handpicked for me because I've been doing it for 30 years now. So I've been initiated quite deeply into the high realms of angelic energies. And they literally help me. Like if somebody's like really like on the cusp, they'll be like, okay, like here's this person, this human, do your thing. And so like I am able to go into the quantum field and speed things up for them and get to spend some physical time with them, and we travel realms. I bring them into different realms. And they don't always remember it. They don't always know what's going on, but they always sign up and they always say yes. And when they come out the other end of that story, it could be a month, it could be 3 months. The longest has ever been is 3 years. And they'll come out to be their highest self. And I've taken on this mission a long time ago when I was in my 20s. And it seems to be good because once I do that, then that person has a web of hundreds or thousands of people in their life. And then it's then affecting all those people because once one person goes into their full purpose, into their highest realm, they're affecting every single thing connected to it. So it's such a beautiful web of light that's just passed on and passed on and passed on and paid forward and paid forward and paid forward. And I have done this with no money exchange. So it's been pretty miraculous that I've been able to raise 2 kids alone, work a full 9 to 5, and do this as a side gig. It's really a full-time job in itself, but
Yeah, pretty similar. I understand what you're saying. I don't charge anything for this as well. People get in touch and stuff. But I do charge for things that have got to do with my professional career, like in
Mhm.
medicine and stuff like that. In fact, the way it's going, I've got a feeling that I'm being guided towards doing workshops as well. And I have that thing about, how much do I charge? Give us a clue. Because most of the time I've got no idea about finances. I haven't got any idea whatsoever. And there's loads and loads of people, right, who live in the material world, say you want to charge this, you want to do that, you could travel, and you could make a fortune, right? But my understanding is, and this is where, and I'm quite comfortable with it, that we will all get what we need, but not necessarily what we want, you know. And I think,
So
there is a desire
so
aspect,
true. So true.
and I think many, many people along this path, because I've been there myself, it's easily to be distracted, right? And I think
Mhm.
another word for distraction are temptations. And I think money is a big temptation, and there's all sorts of other things. And I think you can sort of, as you go along, or as I've gone along, I can almost feel the tug of a temptation now, trying to divert me from my primary purpose. And this is how I clearly see my primary purpose is simply to share my experience, my strength, and my hope with anybody. Right?
Yeah.
It's not necessary to really share theory or theoretical knowledge. It's just to say, this is where I was, this is where I'm up to now, and this is where I feel that I'm going in the future. And that seems to do the trick, really. It's more heart to heart communication than head to head. Now,
But
having
it is
said that, having
but
sorry
it is
to Go on, go on.
It is quantum jumping though, because you're taking the past and the future and the present and you're blending them. So you are doing quantum work, even if it's through a scientific method of sorts.
What do you mean by quantum work?
It's quantum work. It's still quantum. It's still going backwards and forwards and into back into the present. So when you bring your stories to people, your stories from your past, that you're enlightening people with what you went through, you're still going back. And then you're going back to present and you're bringing that to them and then you're bringing them to future because you're giving them the potential of what they can be as is your highest version. So you're doing all that work. It's very quantum. It's very
Yeah.
quantum.
I guess, I mean, for people who don't quite understand what it means about going through. So this living in the now moment then, right?
Hmm.
Does that
Hmm.
mean we're always flipping backwards and forwards all the time? But
So
this
so
now
there's a
moment,
so so there's a tricky paradox with that, Joe. So there's a tricky paradox with that. Because yes, there is only the now moment that we're in, but we're always working from what we know and where we're headed. And so all those things are intermixed like a brew of three, you know? It's like a constant mixing and melding of all those things to create that now. So that's where I think is the paradox of it, at least in my humble opinion.
yeah, no, that's good talking like this because I have a sense of the same understanding really. So give us a clue on what is meant by shamanic healing then.
Okay, that's perfect. I like that segue. I think for what I do is I am able to go into my indigenous and go into my versions, my many versions, or people say lifetimes, people say lives. I've always been able to do this, but I haven't actually explained it to people until this moment. I've talked about it briefly here and there with a few friends, but I've never ever, so this is the first time that I'm actually sharing this on the Joe Delaney podcast. So I actually have the ability to go back into those versions of myself and bring them to the present moment. And then I can tap into the greatest and greatest of gifts of the indigenous and the greatest of the shamanic traditions, because I'm connected to all of them, all the ancient ones. And I can actually bring them forward through my body and actually do work with my hands, with my energy. I can actually do things and make things happen through my vessel of Jill in this now moment. So I can take those versions, bring them into Jill, shoot the energy through, do the things I have to do, and then when I'm done, I can the part of me that directs my body and my person comes back in. And so I've always been able to do that, and people have always been like amazed by the things that I do, but they never could understand them because I don't talk about it. I don't tell, I don't share, I don't give details, and that's how I've worked. But I've been felt very guided lately in my deeper version of authenticity, my even deeper version that I'm in now, is that I feel very guided that I'm supposed to actually express this through words, through my throat chakra. I've never wanted to. I've always wanted to be like in the back of the bus doing my work quietly and secretly. But now I'm very, very guided that I need to actually express fully what I do. And so I'm actually expressing it now to you, and I've expressed it to a couple of people recently. And I just actually had a conversation with someone yesterday, matter of fact, where I was like, "Oh my gosh, you know what I can do now?" And I was like kind of like marveling at the things that are happening, and I was like, "Wow, like I can tap into like my master masseuse, my master chiropractor, I can tap into my shaman, and I could give you a flash healing of like 20 minutes of all those things and just like clean out like an infrared ray in your body and just zoom it through and there you go." And I've done it. I've done it all my life, but now I'm actually talking about it. So I don't know if that adds a little clarity or if you need me to go any deeper.
No, no, makes perfect sense to me. I understand it. So shamanic or shaman-like stuff, right?
Hmm.
What
Hmm.
do you feel about people taking chemical substances to get into these psychedelic realms in order to bring back information to act upon to heal the world?
So I sort of feel I sort of have it's a tricky one, Joe. It's a tricky one. Okay. I'm gonna tread on this one lightly. So I don't think that people exposing themselves to a level of truth is bad, because there's no good and bad. But I do think that the the diving that people go into without preparing and without doing the proper. See, I do everything in ceremony, Joe. So everything I do, before I do it, I have a very good beginning, opening, and a very good positive ending, closing with everything that I do in life. I have a responsibility and a respect and an integrity about how I open things and how I shut them. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of humans, even if they're so-called guided by shamans or people, they're not opening and closing those gates properly. And what they're doing is making an awful lot of work for people like me, because then I have to help them get rid of the demons that they hitchhike on their bodies. And I'm not trying to be like, put down humans, but come on, like, there's a process to these things. Like, you have to like learn how to work with all of these things. Like, you should be spending years and years and years with an ayahuasca plant before you go drinking it. Like, you should be spending years with a cannabis plant and with marijuana, and understand all the caveats and understand the pros and cons and the ideas of it. The same thing with magical mushrooms. Like, you should have a relationship with regular mushrooms. Then you should graduate into shamanic mushrooms. Like, there should always be a respect and honoring. Like, maybe I take it for granted because I have indigenous roots and I come from, I understand I come from the earth. Like, I understand that. So maybe that's just because I come from that place, and so I don't feel it's like common sense to me. But it's just not like, people are just trying to fast forward to realms that they just don't understand. And they get stuck, they get trapped, they get, entities hitchhike onto them. So there has to be a lot more, coming to people that understand those realms and learning from those people that understand those realms before people like just jump into them face first.
Yeah, more or less, I'm in total agreement with that. My background is I'm just coming up to 33 years clean and sober,
Yeah.
and people have said to me, well, why don't you try dimethyltryptamine, DMT, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you try psilocybin? Why don't you do this, that, and the other? Why not pop down to London with me and let's have an ayahuasca trip and all this sort of business? Now, my feeling is, right, because I've tried probably most things on the planet because I was in an environment where I had access to all this stuff, right? And so
Right.
being a scientist, I've experimented with most stuff, you know.
Right.
But for me now, I'm part of my remaining sober, which is clean, emotionally calm and clear-minded as best as possible. I
Right.
don't feel I can't take a chance. It's almost like an allergy. I have an allergy or a sensitivity to taking these things, you know. And if I had a peanut allergy or a strawberry allergy, it would probably be insane. And insane to me, to use words, just simply means sarnus means clear, or it means sound like a bell, right? It would be
Right.
not very sound of me to experiment with these things because nobody could know where it would lead me. And I've seen lots of people that I know who've been sober for a long time, who've experimented with these things. It's taken them back to a drink and they've been dead within 6 months. Now, why would I want to do that? So I don't take, right? And I'm not opposed, right, to using some medical substances if it's
Right.
in the right amount at the right time for the right condition, because I don't completely block against it. Firstly, because I work in the medical environment, right?
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I feel that if I'm guided to help people and they're guided through their heart and their intuition to do this temporarily, then I think it's a positive thing. That's just my view, right? So it probably wouldn't be a good idea, and I wouldn't suggest it to anybody. But once again, people are responsible for the choices they make and the consequences of those choices. And to me, that's all part of the soul's experience and also the ego's experience as well. So
Well,
I'm right with you on that one.
and I also think too, like, and this might sound a little judgy, so I do apologize, but I do feel like that people need to learn themselves
Yeah.
fully before they step into learning some altered version of themselves. It's like I always say to people, and I know that it sounds a little egotistical, but I'm not coming from that vein. I really like myself with no substances. Like I really, really enjoy who I am. Like I enjoy my energy, I enjoy my person. Like I really love the crap out of myself. And that's not like coming from a place of like ego, that's coming from a place of wholeness. And I feel like until you become a certain level of wholeness and really love all of yourself and become in a state of peace with it, what there's no sense in going to those other realms because those other realms are distracting. They're like a bunch of weeds. Like why would you want to put weeds in your path when you're trying to clean up your path and get on a solid foundation? Like it seems counterproductive in most cases.
Yeah, yeah. I think if anybody asks me, I just give them my personal experience and stuff like that and make suggestions. I think what I was going to say, we talk about demonic clearing, right? What are
Mhm.
demons? What are they?
They're just deep embedded shadows of a human. So unresolved, um basically the darkest unhappy feelings that a person might be buried inside of their body, and then they can end up manifesting into something that's almost like another being of that person. But it's not like in the fairy tales like kind of way. It's like it's just it's just a dark side of a person basically. There's no like external things that are after us. There's no like boogeyman. Like it's all internal. It's all from the inside out. And so demons aren't like something outside of you that's separate from you that's like gonna harm you. It's like it's the internal darkness that people don't want to see. And some of us have the ability to gently show someone their demons. I know that sounds ludicrous. How can you gently show someone their demon? It can be done. If you come with compassion and grace and care and love and always love, you can show somebody that stuff and you can help them remove it because they're doing it. You're just holding the space for them. And you're just holding the realm for them so they can take some time to look at it where they don't feel threatened, where they feel like they're being held, like a mother's love, like that kind of energy. And if they're being held by that kind of energy, they're willing to go into those realms and then they can make peace with them because once they actually look at them, they realize they're not real. And so that's kind of what it means to me, if I'm
Yeah,
answering that completely enough.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just interested in what you've got to say because it coincides mostly with how I see things or feel things, really. I think healers, right? Healers don't heal, right?
No.
No, and this is the thing. If you go to a healer and they sort of suggest that you need to go and see them every 3 weeks and pay them money for it and stuff like that, that could be a little bit of a con job, that really, because I think we're each responsible for finding
Everybody
out
does it.
what the demons are
Good thing.
feeding on
Yeah.
within us. There must be something within us. There must be some sort of a root meal that do these demons have form then?
They can manifest into form. Like if it gets really like strong, if it's somebody's like passion to be like playing with like Satan and like, conjuring and like working with like really, really dense things, like yeah, you can definitely like conjure conjure something eventually, but I mean, it would take a lot of work and effort, and it's not as common as people think. But it definitely, there is a caveat of that. I'm not going to disown that, and I'm not going to dismiss that and pretend that's not doesn't exist, because anything that the mind wants, Joe, you know this, I don't need to tell you, anything the mind wants, it can create. Anything. It's infinite. It's an infinite piece. It's a fractal of God. Our minds can create any scenario, anything, any being, any good or bad, anything. We can create it within and without. And it starts from within and then it goes without. It starts with a thought and it starts with, it just grows into like external things.
I agree with you. I think it starts with the thought. To me, demons are thoughts, and the
Yeah.
thoughts that are attached, and then the emotional processing of the thought causes all the problems. So if we
Yeah.
can remove the pattern or the memory
Mhm.
associated with the attachments, and that to me is all part of the getting to, as you've just said, getting to know thyself. Because what's been important to me is to thine own self be true. And where I see
Yeah.
life to me now is about self mastery. And what that means is that the soul will attract to itself every single day experiences, people, places, things in which to learn something and grow every single day. So it works by attraction, not promotion. But unfortunately, the Western world or the material world promotes, 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 promotes. And I know, like you do, and like lots of people listening to this, that it's an inside job. Growing up is an inside job. If we point the finger or we're looking for some sort of external solution to an internal disturbance, then we're probably missing the point completely. So
Oh,
what I've learned, Jill, is that if I'm feeling emotionally disturbed, there's
yeah.
something that needs to be removed from within me and my energetic body. And that's really
Agreed.
difficult because sometimes if something comes in and we get a big trigger, it's very easy to point the finger outwards, right? And to blame the external
It's
circumstances.
actually, I'm going to take that a bit further and I'm going to say we've been trained to
Well,
look
I was
outward.
going to get to that, but you've jumped in and stopped me all right. So, yeah, we've been trained, all part of a nefarious scheme to keep us imprisoned and in a life of servitude. How do you like that? So, if we can say to people, you're pointing the finger there, but there's three fingers coming right back to you, and this is I, self, and me. How are you attracting this to you? Right. And what do you learn to need to let go of so that it doesn't happen anymore? So there we get habits and there we get addictions and stuff like this. So I know that I placed myself, because I chose this game, I placed myself in the field of addiction to go
Mm,
through, to
hmm.
feel it, to go through all those things in order then to become almost like a way shower to people who are almost going through the same stuff. So maybe it can save them 10 to 15 years of hell just by openly talking about my personal lived experiences. And I think that that's for me. And people say to me, what do you consider to be success in this life? And it's dead easy to me. Peace of mind. End of story. Completely and utterly, in all circumstances, to be comfortable in my own skin, except in immediate danger to my physical person. Other than that, there's no need to be bothered by anything. And if we get bothered by anything, it's another lesson that there's something in us that we're getting hooked by that we need to learn. Over to you, old chap.
Yeah, the lovely triggers. Yeah, I feel the thing that's been so expanding for me lately, and it's been helping me help more in the external, is I have felt an extreme amount of divine neutrality. I felt very, very in a peaceful state. And no matter what's happened, I mean, I feel like I've had like wars around me in certain ways, and I haven't been tethered to those experiences at all. And it's really been good to know that when things are going to start looking really kind of wonky to say the least. I'm not even going to use all the adjectives and get all into framing things because people will just go into fear and that's not productive. So I'm just going to say when things get wonky in the near future, I know that I'm a spiritual Marine. I know that I'm on the front lines, and I know that I will be unfettered by anything that I have to witness or anything I have to go through. And I'm very excited about that because I know for my own purpose that I came here for this. I've known about this since I was a child. I have had visions since I was a little child about these days and these times. And I've been telling people my entire life about what's coming. And now it's like finally it's like D-Day. It's here.
I too, from an early age, same thing. Visions, almost like prophetic things about what's
Oh
coming
yeah.
up. It's here. I mean, in 2011, I was woken up with a voice, right, that said to me, "You need to tell people, right, about the great awakening and the great shift in consciousness." So I say, because I have a very light-hearted approach to whoever these things are that are guiding me, I say, well, that's all very well, but you'll have to tell me what it means first, right? And within 6 months, I was traveling the country talking about the Great Awakening, how it's all about a truth vibration. It's a great purge, it's a great cleansing, and anything that's been pushed down in our own psyches and stuff from the past will start to emerge so that we can take action. Like you said before, we've got to take some action on it. We can take action on cleaning up our side of the street and handing out brushes to other people, right?
Oh,
Because we
sure.
can't. And I've been like a savior of other people, mostly women, all of my life. Oh, don't worry, I'll get there. I'm on my white horse. I'll save you, darling, and all that. And I can see now that unfortunately we're all individually responsible for cleaning up our own act, right? And not pointing the finger. And it's difficult. There are many, in my view, there are many years of reconstruction lay ahead. But first of all, everything's got to disintegrate and it's got to deconstruct basically. And I think that there's people like ourselves and lots of people who are listening to this who already understand this. So rather than wasting any energy on trying to keep going a sinking ship, we just need to turn the other cheek, look in a different direction, and use that energy to reconstruct a positive life and a better world. Sounds very grand there, but it's got to start with the individual. And I also believe, Jill, that this is about, it's about collective individuality, where we've all got our abilities, gifts, attributes, call them what they like, and we need to work with those strengths, rather than trying to improve things that we're not naturally good at. So
Right.
we've all been given the gifts, but like we mentioned before, there's a nefarious sort of energy that wants us to keep away from this, and it wants to keep us in our heads. And that's why we've got Netflix, we've got Prime Video, we've got all the films that you could ever possibly want to see to keep you watching externally rather than going internally. And I like this phrase is, if you don't go within, you're gonna go without, right? And I like that. I like those little quips. So
Me
really
too.
is, don't be looking out there in my experience, and it's only suggestion, but it isn't really because I'm telling you, right? Don't be looking out there for what you need. Sink deep in there and ask the question, please show me who I am. Please show me my purpose. And please be gentle with me and give me the information to act upon. Thank you very much. And then watch out and see what happens next. Right.
Yeah. I mean, and it's such a I love the whole paradoxical, duality story in being a human. And I like it especially right now because I think those of us that are kind of holding things together a little bit, like we're holding things up. We're being taught, we're being stepped up to the next version where we have to be able to hold it up and view it, but not be of it.
Yeah.
So we have to really, really just hold the energy and hold our by example what we exist as without going in and being, meddling.
Yeah.
Like we're not allowed to meddle anymore. Like we have to we have to just step it up and just hold the space. It's like, watching the seeds that were planted and not meddling with the flowers anymore, not like weeding them and growing them and watering them. It's like, okay, we did what we came to do, and now we are just meant to stand back and hold next to each other in our powerful strength. We're just meant to hold very, very strong with each other. And it's going to be, there's going to be some bumps, and we're going to see like there's going to be a lot of people leaving. There's going to be some things coming in from other realms that are going to come in to replace those things that are leaving. And I know that firsthand, and I've heard that from others. So it's not going to be as drastic to see as some people think. But those of us that are so feeling and work on like 20 million senses, not five
Yeah.
or seven, are going to feel it tremendously. And then those that are like not quite there are only going to feel things like from a 3D sense, which will be terrifying for them. But it's going to be, and I say terrifying not to induce fear, but just to be like honest about like what's coming, like just for all the people that are holding things up, like they got to know that like they got to strengthen themselves, they got to fortify themselves, they got to juice up with clean good spring water, they got to take care of their vessels, they got to get enough sleep, because every single day when you go out into the world you're going to see more and more of the demons manifested externally. And that's the, that's going to be a little tricky. And I don't want people, like, it's not about fear, it's about being real, because we got to be a little real right now. We can't just be like very like abstract about this stuff. We have to be like, we have to use some words to like express some truths, because people are watching this for a reason. They like you, they like me, they like truth, they like experience shared. And so we have to keep that on the forefront.
I couldn't agree more. Now, unfortunately, my dinner's on the table.
Oh, is it? Did we took too much time to come on? I'm
Not to worry,
sorry.
don't worry. No, 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 because we'll have another go further down the line if you don't, if you fancy
I'd
it.
love to. Yeah, and I'd like to actually have you come back to mine if you wouldn't mind doing that soon.
No, I'll be glad to. No problem at all. And just to say, final question, light language.
Hmm.
Now, people may be experiencing now things coming through their mouth as their throat opens up and their soul expresses itself. It might come up in all gobbledygook and all sorts of jiggly pokery type language, right? Just to say to everybody, it's on its way, right? Don't be
Mhm.
afraid. It's actually a very positive thing. It's not possession, it's almost like a dispossession, and it's kicking out stuff. So if there's something playing on your mind, best get it off your chest through an open and flowing heart. And don't be worried, about things, but it's interesting, right? And it's in my view, and from what's happening to me, it's a very positive thing, right? But it might
Yeah.
frighten the daylights out of the people around you, but don't worry about it. They'll get used to it as they go on.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It's really time, if I could say this th last thing is like it's really really time to be authentic. And
Yeah.
so authentic means anything that wants to come up. Obviously we're not talking about, hate or hurting people. We're talking about your divine, whatever comes through your divine and whatever wants to like show itself, like just be true to it. Just be true to what comes up. Don't, don't stuff it. Don't stuff it down. Just let it come up and let it be seen. It's empowering. It feels so good to just
So,
be what you came here to be.
I agree. Just say yes to life and no to nonsense.
Yeah, yes to life and no to nonsense. That's such a simple quip, but it's such a powerful one. Like everyone needs to listen to Dr. Joe. He's got the spiritual medicine.
No, no, I think I keep getting a picture of a samurai, because believe it or not, and this is to you lot listening as well, believe it or not, I never used to say boo to a goose because I didn't know what to say and I was always embarrassed and stuff like that. But that's changed. But I do believe more than anything else is we mustn't let go of our sense of humor because that light heart, not stupidity, that light heart, right, will keep us going and it will shine a light on the path through which we need to navigate these peculiar times. There we are. Jill, thank you so much. It's nice to see you. And I'd love to come on your show. So give us a shout and we'll do
Yes.
this further down the line.
Okay, that sounds great, Joe. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And I love you and I love all your people, and we'll hang out soon.
Okie doke. And thanks everybody for listening and keep smiling. Bye.
Yes. Bye.